what? Don't feel guilty about the fact that you're having a great time with your vibrator.
Life is short.
Absolutely.
Live it. Flick it. Bang it. That's our motto here. Live it, flick it, bang it.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Life Uncut. I'm Laura.
I'm Brittany.
And this is Ask Uncut, where we answer your deep, your dark, and your burning questions.
Hey, huge news. Huge news. Laura's here, but is she really?
Who da 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 da. We don't know yet. I don't know.
Do you have 2 kids or 3? We can't be sure what is happening in this moment in time.
So the reason why we say this is because technically this episode has been pre-recorded a little bit in advance just in case, because this week is when I'm supposed to be having a baby. I am booked in for an induction. It is happening, or it may have already happened. We don't know.
Well, yeah. Who knows if you've gone early? I just keep thinking my sister went 5 weeks early. So you just don't know. So we're like, we better get ahead of this just in case the little slippery sucker wants to slip right out.
To be fair, for the last 5 weeks, I've been feeling like I've had the top of this baby's head hanging out of my vagina. Like I have felt so much pressure.
I'm not sure I needed that mental imagery, to be
for
honest.
5 weeks. That's why I
Do
waddle.
you know where my brain went? I'd love a head in my vagina right now.
Ew.
No, like Ben's head. That's what I thought. Long distance, it's a whole thing. Continue as you were.
Jesus
Play on.
Christ.
Well, sorry, some of us don't live with their husband.
That's true. I live with mine and I haven't had his head in
Some-
my vagina in a long time.
Some of us want to be having sex still. Some of us are still in the honeymoon phase. So.
I would love to know. Maybe we should do a poll on this because I know everyone's so.
Who likes oral sex? Where's this poll going?
What head would you rather?
Yeah.
No, I would love to know. Like, because everyone's very different in terms of like when and for how long they feel comfortable having sex during pregnancy, right? Some people have sex up until the day. Some people, it's a no-go zone from weeks in advance. Mine's been different for each pregnancy. I would love to know what was everyone's normal. If you've had a baby, like at what point did you either stop or did you never stop?
But what's this pregnancy? That means you're getting frisky because your other ones you don't really get frisky, do you?
No, I had sex up until due date for the other ones, which was really uncomfortable for me because Molly went to 42 weeks. So I was 2 weeks over and I was like, get this baby out. Because they say that having sex brings on
definitely a man
100%.
definitely was the person who spouted that fact.
You know that's like a man-funded research study that was done, wasn't it?
This is what it looks like. Ready? A man goes, yes, I have found out that you do need to have sex to bring on a baby.
Sperm brings on labor.
In fact, having sex the entire pregnancy ensures a safe baby.
Well, look, for reference around when this kid is due, it should be this week. If I'm not on Wednesday's episode, you know that I've already had a baby. Or potentially, if I've been talking about it on socials, I've already had a baby. Who knows? It's just a bit of a black hole at the moment.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Anxious? No, but like you don't have to be excited. You might be stressed or anxious or nervous. It doesn't mean you're not excited, but like what's the overarching feeling?
What are the duplicitous feelings that you're having? Yeah, I'm excited. Well, no, I don't know.
See? I knew if we dug a little deeper we'd get there.
I don't know if I'm excited because I'm not Mother Earth birth. Like I'm not the person.
You don't need to ground and be drug-free in a pool and
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't love childbirth. I enjoy the euphoric feeling afterwards, but I do kind of just think that it's because you've almost had a near-death experience and your body's just happy that it survived.
Yeah, but I get that feeling from bungee jumping.
I also get it from LSD, but I haven't done that in a long time either.
I also get it from mushrooms, which I can't do for a while.
Guys, I haven't done that since my 20s.
I've never
I'm
done
almost 40.
mushies. Yeah.
Have you? Never?
No, never done mushies.
Don't recommend it
Oh,
because
I'm such a
that would get me in trouble, but it was a good time.
I think haven't you? It gave it away. To be honest. I think I need to do it because I have just been, this might surprise people. I know I give badass vibes. I'm such a goody. Like, okay, the school curriculum when I was in year 10 brought in Anna's story. It did its job. Do you
I
remember
remember that.
Anna's story?
I've forgotten Anna's story, but
Anna's story was like back when we were teenagers. Long story short, Anna was a teenager, took a pill at a festival, overdosed and died. And her mum wrote a book about it and it got brought in as a school curriculum. Like you would read it and learn about it.
devastating.
But it did its job for me because I just didn't want to die from a drug overdose. And I'd never done drugs then and I never did drugs since. And I just still remember, I'm like, well played to Anna's mum because I I reckon a lot of people did that. But now I'm like mid to late 30s. Who knows how long I've got to live? Maybe I need to try mushrooms.
I reckon if you've made it this far, don't bother. But before you go out, like when you're like 80, just give it one last crack.
Just get high.
See
at
what
80.
happens in the home.
Just see what happens.
I don't know. I also am very wary about coming across as. Do you know what? We're talking about pregnancy. We're not promoting drugs on this podcast. That's not what we do.
I actually did have a question if we can genuinely go back to the whole like sex in pregnancy situation. Have you ever been at a point where you've been having sex and you've like felt the baby move or kick?
There's just a hand that grabs onto the penis from inside.
Oh no, dude, that's weird. Think through what you just said. Just think it through. That's cooked. Put your claw down, drop your claw. I don't need the visual.
Didn't mean that much. I
does.
just meant like a kick or something of your belly.
Yeah, that's why it's weird because it feels as though at this point, it feels as though there's a third person in the room with you. And I didn't really have that mentality when it was like Marley and Lola, but this time around Poppy, it does not stop moving. Like, I guess we're just sticking with the name. It doesn't stop moving.
So we decided on Poppy?
I don't know. Who knows? I don't know anything anymore. I shouldn't be here.
You should be giving birth. I feel like we're all high today.
No, I feel like she moves around so much that for me, it's quite distracting and I find it very uncomfortable during sex because I can't really concentrate on having a good time because all I'm thinking about is getting like kicked in the lung or in the
scarring your child for life.
Yeah, no, it's
but it's also not pleasant for them. Like you've seen those scans where it shows you how much little things affect the baby at that point, like how much you coughing, what it does to the baby. Like in terms of
I think it's fine.
No, but it disrupts them because like they're so tight in there that like the diaphragm goes down, things move, and it's feeling the walls. So imagine if you're just getting pound down, the baby's like, oh.
We need to move on, okay?
Sorry, you brought up the baby's hand holding the.
This is
that's
true.
not even.
Okay, I'm going to put that poll out because I'm curious and I would love to know when people's limits were. But yes, I could have a baby in the world. We might not. Vibes and unsubscribes. Let's do it.
All right. My Vibe is a BBC podcast. It's something that you guys might have already seen on a documentary because it's been talked about for quite a while. But I love the BBC podcast. I've recommended it before. It is called World of Secrets. So a little while ago, I recommended this same podcast, World of Secrets, but in relation to this yoga teacher cult. So this is going back maybe 6 months, 8 months that I recommended that in case you missed it. So the World of Secrets is a series and they focus on each season is something different. But this is the Abercrombie guys. So you guys know.
I love this stuff.
Yeah, so you've probably seen the doco on it, but I really enjoyed the podcast version where they've gone to find, I guess, one of the guys that started the whole thing, like one of the young guys that came out. If you don't know what the Abercrombie guys are, the owners of Abercrombie and Fitch, and how it actually was so predatory and all the things that went wrong within that industry.
Some really similar story themes to the American Apparel one that we also recommended a couple of weeks back, which is the Trainwreck episode series. It's so interesting to me that these iconic brands of that era seem to all kind of be very muddied by the same types of claims and sexual assault stories. And like, it's pretty gross.
Yeah, and I found it really fascinating, I guess, because it's a bit of the Me Too movement, but focusing on the males that I think people overlook. A lot of people think men don't experience the same thing as women do. And to a sense, of course they don't. Like, it is not on par. But in this sense, it was. Young male models were preyed upon and horrific things happened to them. It's interesting to hear the men that were involved come out and speak about it firsthand about that, because there's quite a few people that ended up coming forward. And I always take my hat off to these investigative. That's the one word I can never say.
Investigative.
I always take my hat off to these investigative.
It is a hard word.
It's actually so fucked.
It's a hard word.
These investigative.
The journalists that investigate.
Will you say it?
Investigative.
It's so Keeshia.
Investigative.
Yeah, investigative. I take my hat off to these journalists who dedicate years of their life to this one story.
What type of journalists are they?
Investigative journalists. She spent like 2 years chasing, like trying to get one person to come forward and speak. And, you know, when you hear of it like that, you're like, wow, like I can't imagine dedicating so much time to uncovering something so important. But I found it really, really interesting. So the podcast is BBC World of Secrets. And the series is called The Abercrombie Guys.
All right, I have an unsubscribe. It is a generic one, but it's one that I want you to hold with you and remember this the next time that you have a terrible fucking impulse purchase overwhelming feeling that comes across you when you see a Facebook ad. So I recently bought something online, and I am so guilty of this. If I see a good Facebook meta ad that pops up on my phone, I will be considering purchasing things that I never thought I needed.
I'm the worst.
I once bought a whole indoor fucking plant system that hangs by a tension. You construct it by tensioning this indoor plant. It's called an indoor plant forest from the ceiling
We
to the
remember.
floor.
It was a vibe.
I never set it up. Like I've never used
But
it.
you vibed it.
No, because Matt banned it. Anyway, okay.
Because you had to put a pulley system into the ceiling.
Literally. And I purchased it on a whim. Did not need it.
I purchase from ads all the time.
Okay, I bought something recently. It was ridiculously overpriced. I don't want to dox the brand because like there are many versions of this and they are all the same, but like this is the most recent hill I'm going to die on. It's a massage thing that you use in the shower for lymphatic draining, right? Like so it's like plastic silicone massage
But
thing.
you hate showers.
Well, no, I like showers. I do them at least once a day. The problem is I received it, cost, over $100 for this fucking piece of silicone. In order for it to apparently be effective, you have to use it for 5 minutes per body part every single day. So if I want to do...
Who has that time?
Thank you. If I want to do both ass cheeks and the backs of my legs, that's 20 minutes in the shower.
I'm going to stop you here. I think this is a you problem.
I agree.
You didn't read the terms and conditions.
No, the instructions aren't on the website. The instructions come on the back of the box.
Yeah, but what
It's
did you
just, like,
think? You just
easy-
went like once down your body and you're
Yeah,
like,
but I'm sure the
So
ad
you're
didn't
like-
say this will take you half an hour per go.
The thing is we are all, and I shouldn't say we all, but so many of us are guilty of buying things that we don't need because we are absolutely relentlessly targeted, and we buy the lead light mask, you buy the fucking gua sha
no,
things, you
lead
buy
light
the
works.
I know, but there's so many versions of them, right? And like I get that it works. I have one. I love my Omnilux mask, but like I don't need any other things. And I do sometimes find myself that I'm so easy to market to. I'm so easy to market to. I spend money on things I don't need, and once it arrives, I use it for a week, and then it goes in a cupboard, and it's fucking irrelevant. And
I just purchased last night, late at night, on an ad, off the back of an ad. I'm embarrassed.
oh god,
It's like a magnet light that sticks on your back of your phone, and it like swivels. It's like a selfie light or a content light, so it like swivels out, and then one side's got a mirror if you need it. Don't know why you need that, but it's like a double whammy light that sticks on your phone.
you're a content
Do you
creator though.
already have one of those?
No, the other one I got goes on the top.
That's
my
lit
point.
from multiple angles.
That's my point.
This unsubscribe is just consider the purchases that you're making and whether you're actually going to use these things as part of your every single day routine, because there's so many things out there now that we're constantly being told we need to look this little bit better or this little bit this. Oh, it's just this one thing. Like, are you going to do a half an hour Omnilux mask, a fucking 20-minute lymphatic drainage system every day? And if you're not going to do that and make the time for it, don't buy it, because you're just going to end up like me and it's all going to sit in a cupboard and you're not going to use it.
It's a pretty deep unsubscribe. Think
Thank
about
you.
your purchases.
I'm having an existential crisis. No, I'm just really mad at myself that I bought this, and I bought like the fucking oil and I bought the wash, and then when it arrived I was like, I'm never going to spend 20 minutes in a shower doing this daily. Like, this was such a waste of my money.
My vibe this week kind of fits in with this a little bit. It is a Substack article written by Kate Bowler, who's a writer, a podcast host, and a Duke professor. It's titled, "Feeling Tired? Try Giving Up Your Purpose. Find your purpose, your calling, your destiny, preferably yesterday." So I'm just going to read this paragraph because I think it'll give you a pretty good synopsis of the whole article. It starts with, "The purpose-driven life is a powerful myth, the best-selling kind. It promises clarity, direction, and a straight path to meaning. But this relentless search for purpose has a cost. As the boundaries between work, identity, and meaning blur, the pressure to find fulfillment in every aspect of life can become overwhelming. When every activity must be infused with significance, even leisure and rest risk being recast as opportunities for self-optimization." And she kind of went through the history of how this idea around purpose, people would volunteer and there was all this acts of service and service to people and find your purpose in service, and you have to find one purpose. There was a book that sold over 50 million copies that was about this. It was like on everybody's bookshelf. And it changed the way that a lot of us thought about having to have one identified big purpose and what was the point of work and what was the point of us being here, you know, these big existential questions. And she kind of breaks down in the fact that for a lot of us, we won't have one purpose in life. We may have many, many, many smaller ones. And this idea of like needing to have this one purpose, you know, work can't just be to earn a salary anymore. You have to get purpose from it. You have to be finding your calling and, you know, doing something that's in line with you. And for a lot of people, that's just not realistic. Like for a lot of people, they just have to go to work to provide for their fucking families.
Or a spiritual purpose or meditate or manifest or do something else.
Purpose is important, 100%. I think everyone needs a purpose. But it's like a soulmate. There's not just one.
Well, yeah,
and they change.
That was kind of what she spoke about. She wasn't saying that you should just give up on having any purpose whatsoever. What's the point? It was more about finding smaller things that you have in your life to be purposeful, you know? And so instead of needing this one overarching purpose and that was your life purpose, you know, your life actually might be made up of many little purposes and that creates a really big sense of purpose in your life. So it was a really good article. I felt like it was just one that I was like, oh, this is kind of countercultural and I really enjoyed it. It's by Kate Bowler and it will be linked in the show notes and on our website as well as all of our vibes are.
All right, let's get into the questions. Question number 1. Will sex be boring because I use my vibe so much? My last relationship, which was also my first relationship, lasted for about 2 years and it didn't end badly at all. During that time, I never finished. She never came, which was a bit annoying.
Oh, that's hectic.
Imagine being strung along by your own vagina for fucking 2 years. But we were both young and at times...
What's wrong with you today?
I'm not going to be here for a while. So.
Yeah, I can tell.
Fucking I'm out of here. Fucking tap that clit. See ya. So sorry, everyone. Okay, I had never experienced an orgasm, so I didn't know if I could. Fast forward to now, I am currently single, and my vibrator has since proved me that my body is absolutely most definitely capable of it. But now I'm a bit worried that using my vibrator so frequently, I'd say 3 to 5 times a week, is going to make sex in the future kind of boring. I'll get lazy, won't be able to finish during sex without it if I get so used to using it. I guess my question is, do I need to stop relying on it and find other ways so I don't become reliant on it and be lazy during sex in the future? Girlfriend, just smash that vibrator. Enjoy your life. You live once. You don't know when your next relationship's coming.
But also, okay, hear me out.
Sorry.
The potential of having bad sex isn't a reason to stop using your vibrator because you might be lazy. Use your vibrator as much as you want, but work on the sex as well.
I wish I found my vibrator sooner. I wish I'd even explored that as an option.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And if you're worried about it making you lazy, then like that's a you problem. But you need to work on sex with your partner because you've realized now you had one relationship where you couldn't orgasm and you thought you're in that percentage of people that can't, because there are a percentage of people that can't. You figured out that, in fact, you can.
Good for you.
So it just means that you've got to work on that with your partner because no one is cut from the same cloth. No one. Everyone needs something different. People's bodies respond differently to different things. The way somebody gives you that and what they bring to the bedroom is different. You just need to have a conversation and work it out with your partner until you figure out what works. But I think this isn't one or the other. It doesn't have to be like, I'm having bad sex, I can only use my vibrator. I'm having good sex, I don't need my vibrator. Do I want good sex? Do I stop my vibrator? Like they can run concurrently. Like have as much sex as you want. Have the great sex alone, have the great sex with your partner.
Also, I mean, I think it's important to add, you don't have a partner at the moment. Like you're single. You just said my last relationship was for 2 years. I didn't come at all. Now I'm single and I'm using my vibrator loads and I've discovered that I can have an orgasm. The thing is, firstly, it is amazing that you've discovered this and like unfortunate for you that you were in a 2-year relationship where you were having sex that was probably subpar the pleasure that you are able to enjoy. And that's because you both were inexperienced and that's totally fine. Like, you know, that's normal. We're all inexperienced. The thing is now you know your body better. You're going to be better at asking for what you want when you're having sex. When you're having sex with someone and they're not doing the things that you know you need in order to get off, I hope that it's not just a point of like understanding what your body needs, but not being confident enough to communicate it, because that's the most important part, right?
But also you can use your vibrator in the sex with your partner.
Totally.
Show them so that you can do both simultaneously.
Totally. And look, don't get me wrong. If you were spending all day, every day masturbating, not going to work because you were just fucking hitting the bean and having a good time.
So 5 times a week's a lot. I'm wondering how much spare time you got.
But then I guess it's like most nights before she probably goes to bed. I'm I'm not going to yuck that yum. I don't know.
I'm not yucking it. I envy it. I don't have the energy 5 nights a week. I'm like, that's me. Put my electric blanket on and that's the only warmth I'm getting.
But I would say, like, I mean, if you were doing it so frequently where masturbation in general takes away from being able to enjoy pleasure when you're having sex, that's a different story. But I don't think that using a vibrator 3 to 5 times a week and being able to get yourself off easily is going to inhibit you from having good sex later on. I just really hope that you get to a point where you are able to communicate what feels good for you. So the next time you go into a relationship with someone and you guys are potentially in a situation where you're not getting off from that sex, you're able to say, hey, can I bring my vibrator into the bed? Or this is what I need you to do to get me to where I need to be so that you're not relying on it. I think it's fine. Go for gold, girlfriend. You're having a great time. Don't punish yourself.
Go for gold.
You know what? Don't feel guilty about the fact that you're having a great time with your vibrator.
Life is short.
Absolutely.
Live it. Flick it. Bang it. That's our motto here. Live it, flick it, bang it. All right. All right. I found AI porn on my nephew's computer.
Oh, dear.
What do I do with this information? Do I tell his folks? Hear me out. While providing tech support to my 12-year-old nephew.
So young.
Yeah. I have found out that he has been accessing porn websites, including an AI porn game and an AI girlfriend generator website. That is so scary to me, actually, like just stopping down. That's insane. The age, 12, feels too young, and that the fact that they're not even having, I mean, I don't know what's better. I mean, real life connection in terms of just with friends, but like the fact that you know enough to go and have an AI created girlfriend.
The thing that's so alarming about this is, I mean, obviously most of us know like the age reference, but like 12, you're in primary school. Like, that is a primary school child who is accessing this, who is seeing this highly adult orientated content. It's fucking frightening.
All right. Well, they continue on. I am unsure what to do, if anything at all. I acknowledge the raging hormones and curiosity in preteens, but I want to make sure he's not accessing content that encourages misogyny. I have no children of my own and I don't know how best to deal with this. Should I talk to his parents or just let sleeping dogs lie? I don't feel comfortable talking directly to him as it might embarrass him. Thank you in advance. Love the pod.
So as a parent, my very first response to this is you have to tell his parents.
Yeah.
They cannot parent the things that they don't know. And if they have been providing him with unsupervised access to the internet or to laptops or whatever it is, they need to be really, really aware of what it is that their kids are accessing, because they obviously think that, you know, they probably think he's too young. They probably think he has no idea about that world. And I'm sure that they would be absolutely mortified, not at him because he's a child, but at themselves, that they hadn't done more to protect him in this environment. You've got to give them the opportunity to be able to correct this behavior, to be able to have conversations with him, and more so than correct the behavior, to keep him safe. Because if he's having this unfettered access to the internet and he's looking up this sort of stuff, it also opens him up to being totally exploited in chat forums or in different environments where predators could access him. Like, this is just so fucking frightening. This is not for you to keep a secret or for you to, you know, try and manage. You just need to go straight to the parents and talk about it.
Yeah, I tried to put myself in this situation too, as like an auntie to many nieces and nephews, and no kids of my own. So exactly like you, I would absolutely be telling the parents because he is far too young. He is a child. He is 12 years old.
Oh my God, it makes me feel devastated.
But my brain went straight to what you just said, Laura. My brain went to not necessarily that, because kids that age are going to look at porn, and I guess porn has changed. You know, it's AI porn. Kids were always looking at porn around 12 and 13, like they were seeing magazines and stuff. So it's just a modern day version. And I'm not saying it's okay, but my brain sort of skipped straight past that and went to what else is he accessing and what other predators is he meeting with, or I don't say meeting with, but talking to, or that have access to him. That is my absolute main issue. But I also understand why you're worried about the misogyny or the things that could come from that, because 12 is so impressionable.
Totally.
That is formative years in all aspects of your life. And if this is where you're getting your knowledge of what relationships are, what sex is like, for starters, it's not even a real person. So there's an issue in itself in that.
It says that he's accessing porn websites, including AI porn and AI girlfriend generators. So he is actually accessing normal porn as well.
Yeah, it's extremely problematic. I wouldn't think twice about it. I would let the parents know and then they can decide what to do. But oh my God, I even feel uncomfortable if I was a parent. How do you even have that conversation?
No, I think parents, look, you can always seek advice on how to have it, but it's so important. I think sometimes we think that our kids are not at the place or the stage of development that they are at. And what I mean by that is like, you know, you always kind of see your child as being a child, and they're 12, they're a baby, but the ways in which 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds, the things that they have access to, the things that their friends talk about, all it takes is for another 12-year-old at school to have an older brother and sister, have seen some of this stuff, and then they come to school and they're talking about it. So you as a parent, and I really deeply believe this, I think you always have to be on the front foot. You always have to be the one that's had the conversation with them before the kids do, and not just assume that because they're young that they don't have any access to this stuff. You got to obviously make it age appropriate and do it in a way that's like you're not scaring them or exposing them to more things than what they might not be aware about. But I think it's a really tricky thing to manage, and it's not for an auntie to manage. It is absolutely for the parents to be across.
You know what the problem is too? It's like, you know, so most of the parents that we are talking to now and that are listening, you know, grew up in our generation, give or take 10 years, you know, older, but they grew up in our generation. And I guess a lot of us look at, and I do the same with my nieces and nephews, you look at them and you sort of think about it like you relate it to when you were that age, but you can't do that because when we were 12, it is different to 12-year-olds now. We didn't have access. The internet wasn't around.
Totally.
It was easier to be protected and you had access to things a lot slower. You had to come across real life situations. But now kids have access to anything at any age. Like if you're letting your 8-year-old go on use YouTube, they have access to things that they should absolutely not have access to. So you can't relate a 12-year-old now to a 12-year-old when we were 12.
Also, like when you say like when we were kids that we could see porn, but the porn was like limited. It was limited to a magazine.
Yeah.
It was limited to like, you know, maybe the front of a DVD cover that when you went into, or not even DVD. It was like a VCR cover when you went to Video Easy. Like it was such a specific type of porn, whereas now the internet is just anything and everything. And I really, maybe this is, some parents would disagree with this, and maybe I seem very skeptical in saying this. I love my children. I trust them, but I don't trust them at the same time. I don't trust that they're not going to push the boundaries. Yeah. And so I think as a parent, it's our responsibility to make sure that those boundaries are tight and that you're thinking about, okay, I know that they have unsupervised access to the internet. Then I need to assume that they're doing stuff because they're a kid and they want to, you know,
they're curious.
They're curious. They want to find stuff out. If they've got unlimited access to the internet, they're going to be looking at the things that they think they can get away with. Kids know how to explore history now. Kids know how to delete photos on iPhones. Like Marley is 6. She has never been taught how to use an iPhone. She's only observed us doing it. She doesn't use an iPhone. She obviously doesn't have one. And I found out recently that she knew that you could take photos and you could delete them, which to me, I was like, for a 6-year-old, why would you even know
or need to
delete photos? Exactly. Like, why is that something that should exist? And every so often she'll take our phone and be like, I'm going to take photos. And she's taking photos, you know, around the house of the plant or the dog or whatever. But the concept to me of like, okay, now that you know you can delete stuff, you also know you can get away with stuff. So then, you know, it kind of prompted me to go and check, well, what is it that you think you need to delete that I can't see?
Because she might not know about the delete folder yet.
Yeah, she doesn't know the delete folder exists. We had a big conversation around the fact that like things you do on phones and things you do on the internet will always be there, and other people will always be able to find that stuff. And I think that was like, you know, an age appropriate way of having a conversation around a bigger concept when it comes to the internet. But this is really fucking scary. And 12 is just such a baby to be exposed to all of that horrible stuff. That's why there needs to be so many more laws around porn and accessing like age appropriate porn and having like over 18s and all that sort of stuff. I mean, like it needs to come into effect.
It's just that they have that stuff. It's just the internet.
No.
You just pirate stuff and rip it, then it goes onto another webpage that has access to anyone or.
Totally. But in Australia, look, I mean, this is the big thing. It's been pushed for years and there's legislation that's going through government at the moment. Like, why? With everything that we have in this country and the ability for rules and procedures and policies to be implemented, why do they not have a verified age vetting on all pornography sites, so that if you're accessing it, you don't just click, yes, I'm over 18.
Yeah.
You have to submit your license. You have to submit your details. Also, then you will know people who are looking at things that are absolutely fucking abominable, because people will be traceable by their IP addresses. Like, I think that
yeah, but
stuff,
I don't know if I believe in that either. I don't think that we as people should be policed to the point that we're like, hey, Fred from down the road looked at porn last night. Like, I understand it to set rules for age appropriateness, but we shouldn't be able to be tracked for every single thing we put into a Google search as well.
I agree, but what if the things that you're searching are like things that elicit to child porn? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. This is why it's a problem.
Yeah.
Because of course we need it for that. But the average Joe Blow that just wants to go and look at porn doesn't want the government to know every single thing he looks at. Like, it wears the line, and I understand it that something needs to change for that reason. But like, generally speaking, we can't have a government watch every single thing that we put in. Like, they already fucking watch everything that we do. So I understand both arguments. It's fucking tricky.
It would be an interesting one to unpack one day, like with more
Yeah.
details around how they're going to manage that in the future.
Yeah.
All right, next question. I don't know how I feel about this one. My boyfriend gets turned on by crying, so now I can't get emotional or cry. Hear me out. My boyfriend and I were discussing our turn-ons one day in the early days. He told me how when his partner cries, it gets him a little bit aroused. He says he can be empathetic, and he never or has never acted on it. I am someone who likes to discuss my mental health struggles with my partner, cry, chat about it, and move forward. But now I find myself unable to cry in front of him, which is now leading to an issue because I'm bottling things up when I'm around him. Any
She
help?
just want to get pumped while
She's
crying.
like, if I cry, he's going to want to fuck me. Any help or suggestions would be great, because he's incredible. He is my penguin, someone I've gone through a crappy marriage and many toxic relationships to find. Now, I'm not viewing this as something that will break the relationship. I just don't know how to move past this so that I can let the floodgates open up and move on before it seriously affects me.
So the problem is you want the floodgates opening from the eyeballs, but not the vagina.
Yeah, less vagina floodgates.
This is
What a weird king to be like, when my partner is emotional and vulnerable, I want to.
No, do you know what? I actually probably think if you dug into that, I don't think it's that weird. I think it would come into like a protection thing, like it's vulnerable and you want to look after them or whatever. I don't think it's probably that weird. It's a little bit weird if it's to the extreme where like you are talking about something quite serious and dark and deep and crying and he's just got a raging boner. Like if he can't control himself, it's weird. But also if it's just turning him on as in like, fuck, I just want to look after you and I love you and I'm whatever. I don't think you should bottle it in.
Well, what do you do though?
Well, no, because people, just because you're turned on doesn't mean you have to fuck. Like, he can control that unless you're not crying and he's like, like a big giant boner. I think that he needs to control that. And people get turned on for different things all the time. And it doesn't mean you have to like drop your pants and do the deed right then and there. Like, you can definitely need to tell him that you feel uncomfortable crying because you're worried he's going to want to have sex. Like, I think it's, you know, I don't think you need to break up with him for it, and I don't think you need to bottle it up. But maybe if it's something that's you're going to be far more emotional about, you talk to someone else about it. I don't know. It depends how much you can control his impulses.
Look, he has said, and you have said it in your question itself, he says that he can still be empathetic and he has never and will never act on it.
Yeah.
That's good. Like, at least he has self-control. Do you know what I mean? But it would be disconcerting to be quite upset about something.
Discombobulating, maybe.
Yeah, and wanting to talk about it with your partner and always thinking, I'm getting upset by it. Here we go again.
I know.
Well, because I think the bigger thing is, and like to kind of unpack it on a deeper level, is like it's invalidating, right? Like, you're there talking about something that's really, you want your partner to be able to understand your feelings. You want your partner to be on a level with you where they're able to communicate about the thing that's making you upset or whatever that looks like. And all you're now thinking is like, well, if I'm crying, he's going to want to bone. And that's just like, it's a totally inappropriate reaction for that environment and setting.
Like, your grandma just died and he's like, oh, you're so hot right now.
Literally,
like,
right? It's weird.
Doesn't work.
But this is the problem is though, is like, unless you actually have a conversation with him about it, you're probably always going to feel a little bit like, well, if I cry, Is that what he's thinking? Even if he doesn't do it, is that what he's thinking now? I don't know what the solution is to this unless it's like talk it out. My other thing is, maybe this is going to come back and bite me on the ass because in no way do I want to kink shame. That's not what I'm doing here. But I do want to ask the question. If you have a kink that you're never, ever, ever going to act on because you know that it's socially not either the norm or could be perceived as inappropriate, why tell someone? Because all that does then is gives them the burden of them trying to like deal with the fact that you have this sexual kink that impacts them, but you're never going to act on it, but you're thinking about it. But then it's like, is everything needed to be discussed in a relationship? Should then there be some stuff we keep to ourselves?
Yeah, but maybe if it's an extreme kink, I think this is different. I don't think it's a kink. She'd have said in our early days, we were saying, hey, what turns you on? And he's obviously been like, hey,
Crying.
sometimes when people cry, I get turned on. I don't reckon it was that. I don't think they thought about it that much. And I don't think it's a kink as such. But there's a definite difference between a turn on and a kink. That's like, he's not taking a dump on a chest, but he's, you know, he was open and vulnerable with you and said that when someone cries that it turns him on. I don't think it's the end of the world. And you've said he's not going to do anything about it. I'd just talk to him about it and maybe he can put your mind at ease a little bit and say, like you're overthinking it. Like I don't want to ravage you every time you cry. Like maybe he'll explain it a bit more.
I think he has a vulnerability kink. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, like I think it's common. Not necessarily the tears part, but wanting to look after somebody is a really common thing with men. Like when someone, like the broken bird syndrome, some women do it as well.
I mean, that was in my 20s.
Yeah. Loads of women
Give me a man that's a fixer-upper project and I will take him.
But men do it too. It's
and let him destroy me.
In every way.
Literally,
physically, metaphorically.
I cried a lot. I'm pretty sure that crying also turned my exes on when I think about it.
Yes, see? I think it comes back to this, like, I'm a protector, I'm masculine, I'm doing my job, I'm looking after you. And maybe I'm looking too much into it now, but yeah, I wouldn't say it's the actual liquid tear that does it. I think it's the surrounding deeper meaning.
I think a few conversations need to be had. All right, last question.
This is hectic. This is like the most hectic question in a way, besides the woman falling pregnant to her cousin when she cheated on her husband. This is like a different kind of hectic.
What about the woman who fell pregnant during a threesome and it wasn't to her partner?
That's one under the cousin pregnancy. And then this one comes under that.
What about the dad sniffing? What about the father-in-law who was caught sniffing his son's wife's vibrator?
Yeah.
That was probably the most hectic question we've ever had.
That was cooked. That was proper cooked. This is hectic for a different reason because it's like, I mean, could be illegal.
#Mushroomgate.
Have a listen to this. Is my mother-in-law poisoning me? If you think so, probably yes. I have been with my partner for 3 years and he has been nothing short of amazing. He's taught me the real definition of love and I could see myself with him long term. The one thing I really struggle with is his mother-in-law, who can be very opinionated and I'm slightly convinced has it out for me. I was recently, I'm not slightly, I'm convinced. I was recently sick with a cold and I just couldn't seem to shake it off. So she mailed me through some vitamins, in inverted commas, along with a list of when to take them and how many to take each day. I thought this was really nice, so I took them without hesitation. After about 4 days of taking them, I was at work with horrible stomach cramps. It was vomiting. I was really unwell. So it turns out the vitamins that she had given me were actually medication that doctors use to treat scabies and ringworm. And she was giving me 4 times the dosage of what doctors would prescribe when they prescribed these things. That's so intense. The doctor said I was really lucky to have only been vomiting as it could have been a lot worse. Once she found out how sick I was, she kept trying to contact me to discuss my symptoms, but I just kept declining the call as I was extremely upset about everything. My partner has now told me that I should ring her and apologize for ignoring her phone calls and that I should be keeping the peace. Am I in the wrong for not wanting to keep the peace with my mother-in-law after something like this? And is it worth being with my partner when I absolutely cannot stand her? P.S. My mother-in-law isn't a doctor and I have no idea where the hell she got these medications from in the first place.
Look, we did a bit of a deep dive on this one because, I mean, firstly, we don't know exactly what it was that your mother-in-law has given you, but from a bit of research that we all did, because, you know, none of us are doctors and none of us are scientists, but it looks like it was probably a thing called ivermectin, which I think is really interesting because this is something that was touted during COVID and people were taking because it was said to help alleviate COVID symptoms. So ivermectin is kind of a little bit controversial, but there is other reasons why people take it beyond just ringworm and scabies. Now, the question is here, is your mother intentionally or mother-in-law intentionally trying to poison you? I don't think so. I think she's probably quite woo-woo and thought that this is like this, you know, underground treatment that was going to help you get over all of the things that had similar characteristics to COVID. Also, there's a pretty fucking big lesson here, everyone. Don't take medication from random people who are not doctors. Like, whether it's a vitamin or it's, you know, something that's prescribed or not prescribed, there is no way in hell that I would be taking medication that Ellie gave me on a whim and gave me the dosage amounts without doing my own research and looking that up, because as you said, she's not a doctor. So I don't think she's tried to do it in a covert way. She's been very overt. She's sent you something. She's given you the dosage. I think we have to take some personal responsibility as well and be like, okay, well, what is it that I'm being recommended to take? But you do need to talk to her. Like, you can't just ignore her and be like, you fucked up. You sent me something that made me sick.
Yeah.
Because there is a personal responsibility here where you took the thing. Like, you took it blindly because you just assumed that your mother-in-law, who has no medical experience, would send you something that's going to fix you. Like, that to me is weird as well. So I think like having a phone call where you're like, hey, that whatever you sent was really, really dicey and it really, really affected me. Please just know that that's not something to send. She will probably be mortified unless she's a psychopath and she's trying to kill you. Like, but I think you could get yourself into a situation in this where you are actually the one in the wrong, especially if you use this as like verbatim and gospel that she's trying to kill you. And then secondly, that big question of, is it worth being with my partner when I can't stand his mother-in-law? You obviously already can't stand her. Only you can decide what impact she's having on your relationship.
Yeah.
And there are many people who are in happy relationships with their husbands or with their wives and they fucking can't stand their in-laws. And there are many people who are not. So that unfortunately is so subjective.
Yeah.
It's impossible to answer. Good luck. Godspeed.
What a
Stay
rogue.
well. Don't take anything. Do not go for any dinners at your mother-in-law's house. Make sure
What
that the
a
plates
rogue
are all
question.
matching in colour.